We are synced. We are ready. Okay, good. Let's salute the kind people. Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Let's Play Gw2. I'm in jail, unfortunately. Well, no, I'm not in jail. Well, hold on. How would you describe that? I'm visiting jail. It's a bit like Monopoly where you land on that square. This is underneath the big place in the middle of the Black Citadel, which is where we're currently going to now. But I thought I'd show this off. This also wasn't on my list to show off for the Black Citadel, but hey, in the spirit of things, let's just have a look at them all. There's a couple of people in jail here. We've got a warden, I presume. Senka the Relentless. I'm the Stockade Warden, she said. I make sure these I think he says, right? I make sure these lying, thieving, and traitorous swill pay their debt to the legions. What does this one do? Murder, pure and simple. Problem is...
Any more lip and I'll cut off your paws. You eat when I say you eat, you work when I say you work. Got that?
I don't think he was giving you any lip. He says, murder pure and simple. Problem is, he won't name his accomplice. Tribune Gw2 wants that name, so he rots here. Isn't Gw2 the Blood Legion Tribune? Who's the other one? We call him Vix the Scapegoat. He conspired with assassins to go after Ambassador Aximus in Ebonhawk. He keeps protesting that he's innocent, but nobody believes him. Ambassador Aximus. I don't recognise this name. Maybe this character does exist, because you can go to Ebonhawk. And the other one? Right, okay, no. What do you have to say for yourself? What do you want? Do you got a message from her? What? No messages. Now, as Ashley, well, no, not as Ash Legion, as a charr whose father was a Gladium, I'm kind of regretting saying that my father was like a shaman, because we've done so much with the Flame Legion already at this point. Anyway, with a father that was a Gladium, I actually had some quests down here which were kind of cool, but I wanted to show it off early as well. They certainly didn't answer who he was talking about there with his accomplice. Vic Scapegoat says, you've got to believe me, I'm innocent. I swapped my watch with someone else. Again, a guy named Bitterpaw. He's the one who did it, not me. I'm not the one you have to convince, but I do find it curious that his name is Scapegoat, and that's his story, but okay, there we go. Other than that, really nothing much going on down here. As I say, it's personal story stuff. It's one of those little instances, think like the... Actually, there aren't that many in Divinity's Reach, really, I can mention, that aren't the Vigil bloody headquarters or the throne room. The throne room, there you go, let's just go with that one. It's not necessarily a home instance, which, once again, by the way, have you noticed we've not really been back to for a long time. I'm not actually sure whether we're ever due to go back there. We might be. It's interesting. In any case, we're back down here, as I say. And yeah, there's this little side passage here which I hadn't shown off before. The point of interest, the main reason why I went down there was because there was this point of interest there, the Citadel Stockade, that was really starting to annoy me because I kept running over here, getting to the location, and then realising it was underneath and thinking, oh, I can't be bothered to get it. So I got it at the start of this one. But yeah, we have been summoned to speak with Tribune Brimstone. Why have we been summoned? How do we know this? I don't know how we're supposed to know. Have you noticed that there seem to be a lot less personal story-related mails when you're playing as a charr? Like, as a human, it was always very clear. Like, you finished a certain step and then you got a message from someone and they were like, hey, come over here, come do this, come do this. But for the charr, we've just finished stuff and then been like, oh, right, now you just got to go report. I suppose it makes sense that we have to report anyway after a successful mission, but still. Speaking of mails, also, before we go in, again, I don't want anyone to do this, but this was here from a while ago. Somebody sent me a message, Saffron Grimsorn, who says, blood for the Blood Legion, and this just so happens to work out. Legionnaire, congratulations on your promotion. Tribune Brimstone told me you might need help with collecting a warband, so here's a relic my sire left before he became a Gladium. It's supposed to be collected a long time ago by a Flame Legion warband that survived an attack on a long-lost human citadel in the northeast. That's a long sentence. Also, no, it wasn't used before. Those marks on the hilt are from some type of bear. So, thank you very much to Saffron Grimsorn. This kind of works out. I've been returning a lot of mails, but this kind of works out because in the last episode I picked up this rifle, if you remember, which I've now unlocked the skills for. I forgot how much I like rifle. It's a little bit boring, I suppose, but it's got everything you need. It's so fun. But actually now we've got a longsword too, which means we can kind of check out all the different weapons. This I haven't used for a while. All I know is 100 Blades is super fun and everybody use it and a bit overused. Also, as well, oh god, so much to say. Traits. I kind of want to go into shouts, but I'm not sure. Nobody really came up with any particularly exciting or enticing ideas. So for now, I don't want to just go power, though. If there's one thing I've learned about Guild Wars 2, it's don't get blindsided and just go power, 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 power. But here's the book. I've already bought it, so we'll double-click that. We've unlocked our Adept section. We've got 3 unspent trait points because I bumped us up to level 13. That's just 2 levels higher than we were last time, even though this quest here is only level 11 required. So, I don't know. Should we just go Discipline? This is always the kind of the more unique one. Critical damage and burst damage, so your burst skill. That's kind of cool. They're kind of interesting. I was expecting that to be boon duration, to tell you the truth. Ah, vitality and boon duration together. These seem to be paired quite nicely. Toughness and healing together. Condition damage and precision. Well, okay, they don't quite fit. But still, that's pretty good, actually. These are all paired much nicer than other classes I've played. Alright, let's just go 5 strikes of adrenaline on weapon swap. Meh. 5 extra toughness while reviving. Meh. Extra armor while health is above 90%. That seems okay. 33% chance to cause bleeding on critical hits. Or damage foes at the end of a dodge roll. That's interesting. I didn't realise warriors had that. Let's go defense. I know that might seem a little bit boring, but hey, we've got plenty of time to diversify as we go forward. So we just got a bit of extra toughness and healing there. I really like the synergy between those two. In any case, right, so there's that. We will learn our greatsword as we go forward. Let's go speak to the Tribune. See what wonderful things he has to say about our plentiful progress we have made. Hey, our Reaver's not here. Is this the first time we've loaded into a personal story step and Reaver hasn't... Oh, no, there she is. Okay. Maybe I should change... Yeah, Reaver the Cleaver, I get it. You're a bit of a one-joke horse there, aren't you? Alright, so we got Tribune Brimstone. Does Sharp Eye have anything to say? Nope. Okay. Hey, Brimstone. Tribune, sorry. It's very informal. Shouldn't call you that.
We've got a delicate situation here, Legionnaire. Tell me what you know about your sire, and make it quick.
Name: Clement Forktail. Rank: Flame Legion Shaman. He is a notorious traitor and an enemy of the Black Citadel. Not to mention an embarrassment to me. I've broken several jaws reminding people that I'm not responsible for my father's actions.
I know. I've seen the incident reports. Now, Forktail wants to turn himself in. Claims he'll provide critical information on Flame Legion activities. The catch is, he'll only turn himself into you. After all these years, he wants us to think he's seen the error of his ways.
I'll be happy to collect him for you, Tribune. Just don't expect a tearful reunion between sire and cub.
I expect you and your warband to handle this with your usual efficiency. He'll be waiting at the top of the wall. Bring him in. Alive. Dismissed.
Ooh, so we're going to the Great Northern Wall. So that's kind of weird, actually. I was at least expecting some kind of conclusion to the previous chapter, but there just really wasn't one, was it? It was just, okay, we're done with that. Literally no word at all about what I did against the Flame Legion there, or the supposed attack on the Black Citadel. They just kind of throw you in. I've got to be honest, guys, I'm kind of regretting a little bit, maybe a bit prematurely, this idea of doing the Flame Legion guy, because we've already kind of said what has to be said about that. And I enjoyed the plot where he's a Gladium so much. It was really, really quite fun. I don't know, so hopefully this will be interesting. It'll have as much intrigue and cool kind of... Because it was quite emotional too, the other one that I did. Maybe that will still be there. Sharp Eye now has something to say. Clement Forktail, traitor, murderer, wanted for multiple actions against the Black Citadel. Quite a sire you have. Better than some, worse than others. Some cubs, like me, never see their sires after the Farah. That's good or bad, depending. Good. Absent, no sire is perfect. And Ritlock says, no, not you, Sharp Eye. You've had your time in the limelight. The Flame Legion's really been burning the Citadel's tail. When they're not trying to tear us down, they're recruiting our best magic users. They want to enslave us all again. Long past time we wiped them out. Does that make any sense? Oh, yeah, it does. Long past time we wiped them out. Leave it to me. Oh, and then that just closes the dialogue. Don't they have enough soldiers? Why recruit so hard? It strengthens them and weakens us. Yeah, I suppose that's true. You take from our pool and add to theirs. Right now, their numbers are equal to the other legions, but they don't let women fight, so they need magic and press gangs to even up. That's an interesting line, actually, because... I don't know, I've kind of been led to believe over the years of the Guild Wars lore and stuff that they kind of fell back and they're on the back step. But if their numbers are equal to the other legions, is he talking about collectively? So just the Flame Legion is the same size as Ash, Blood and Iron put together? I doubt it. But just one of them, that's kind of interesting. I suppose the difference is Ash, Blood and Iron are all in an alliance with one another, of course. The Flame Legion aren't. Okay, whatever Flame Legion's up to, I'll stop it. Alright, sure. There was something else I was going to say as well. I can't remember. Reaver, have you got anything interesting to say? Oh, look at my mouse. It's crazy. I'm playing SPVP yesterday, and I'm not gonna throw out excuses or anything, but so frequently I couldn't turn the camera because of my sodding mouse is now like going ridiculous. Your sire was a Flame Legion. Don't you know mine well? Sorry, didn't know mine well, but I remembered he'd called me Kitten after a battle with notched his mace for every kill, laughing at each one. It's good to laugh. Come on, Kitten. Let's see what Forktail knows. I'm going to call you Kitten from now on. That's awesome. Yeah, that's what I was going to say, actually. So you might be seeing this plot and being like, oh, okay, and it might not be particularly resonating with you. Just don't forget, right, that charr culture I think it's quite unconventional for a charr to ever really meet their parents. Like, the whole whoever sired you, whoever brought you into this world, isn't actually that important to the charr. They don't really care about that so much. I suppose it kind of makes sense too, because in any society that's not a particularly uncommon thing. They just kind of leave their parents and go to the Farrar, and it's the warband that they care about more. There's no like blood relation there between the warband, but they're your real family. It's not particularly conventional or something that many charr care about to actually seek out their parents. So many won't, as Reva says. Oh no, wait, Reva did know her parent. As Sharp Eye, was it? Says they never really knew their parents at all. So do kind of bear that in mind. Like, we've got a Flame Legion shaman, like nobody really likes him, he's a traitor and so forth, but that doesn't really have any bearing on me whatsoever. And once again, that's another nice comparison to the Norn too, in that the Norn care a lot about like their parents and their legacies and their legends, and the charr, for the charr that's slightly different. It's not so much on an individual. What were you saying? Okay, that's weird. That dialogue was so quiet, and yet they were talking to each other like from across the room. Gayron there, Gayron Balefire, the guy that the Flame Legion have come to worship. Anyway, right, enough chit chat. Let's actually go to the toppled wall. So the whole thing, I suppose you could call the toppled wall, but I guess just this section here is known as it. Probably best to go to the Martyr's Waypoint, which is what we unlocked yesterday. So that works out quite nicely, actually. Off camera, I have now completed one of the Asura areas. So when I was on the human, I was completing this area here to level up off screen. On the charr, instead of going to the human areas, because I thought that might be a little bit boring, I've gone to the Asuran areas. That doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to be playing an Asura next or anything. It's just I quite enjoy the Asura areas. I don't know why, but I kind of feel like it's quicker leveling up there. I'm probably wrong, but I don't know. It just seems slightly more skewed. It's because in the first betas, we couldn't go to that location. We couldn't go to the Tarnished Coast. But later on, we could. And I don't know, and we had to create new characters too. And when I did create those new characters, it somehow just felt like it flew by. Maybe, I don't know. It's one of those weird things. If you notice, like how if you watch a film or listen to a radio or like a radio show, or you watch a video, even like just watching a YouTube video or something, right? The first time you watch it, you're like taking in tons and tons and tons of information about it, and it feels like the first short while you're watching it, feels like it's lasting for a really long time, and then like you look back and you're like, oh, that went by quite quickly. But then if you watch the same thing a second time, because you already know what most of is what's happening, what like the first 5 seconds, for example, even as short as that, suddenly feels like way quicker the second time you watch it. Do you guys get that? Like, I think it's the same kind of thing for like when you're starting a game for the second time. It feels like it goes a bit quicker, just because you're taking in less new information and there's less, I guess, to reflect on when you perceive it from the future, and then you think, oh, okay, so that lasted less time. Am I making any sense at all? That's what I think it is anyway. I kind of always attribute that to it. Anyway, our great sword. We got some harpies here to kill. Harpies? Oh, I talked about harpies. We did at the dam, didn't we? A little bit. So these guys were at the dam in Queensdale. I don't know whether I really said that much about them. It feels like a bit of a blind rush when I was back there. These guys, they were first introduced to us on the southern continent, Elona, this kind of desert continent. That's when we first got to know about the harpies. There's some information out there that kind of suggests they might be a fallen race, a bit like some of the other races we'll find out. So once they were majestic and beautiful and these wonderful, wonderful creatures, and then kind of they fell. There's also kind of hints that maybe there's a harpy homeland, like to the northeast, I believe it was, of Elona, or of the area we're in Nightfall, which is kind of interesting too. And then there's some even more crazy theories about how the Mist, this place that you go to in the afterlife in Guild Wars, this all-consuming entity that exists in the universe, right? When you go there in Guild Wars 1, there are some like beautiful golden statues of women, and people also say that maybe those could have been harpies too, which would be an interesting idea. Anyway, would you like to continue a story, searching for the truth? I would. I don't think this will have anything to do with harpies. That's a nice concept art. Oh, is that? Oh, no, it wasn't. There's some concept art from the game that has, like, this guy riding a horse.
Don't worry. We'll keep your sire safe until you get back.
Sure, okay. There was some concept art of this guy riding a horse, and everyone was like, oh, this means that there's going to be mounts for Guild Wars 2. And I still haven't seen a horse in Guild Wars 2, not one. There were at least hints at horses in Guild Wars 1, but ArenaNet obviously made a decision somewhere along the line to say, no, look, there are harpies here, this is cool. To say, no, we're not going to do horses at all. I do think mounts will eventually come, but there'll be a more cosmetic thing, and I don't think that anyone... It's quite nice, actually, because before the game came out, everyone was foolishly saying, oh, we want mounts, where are my mounts in Guild Wars 2? Mounts, 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 mounts. And everyone always that knew about waypoints and stuff was like, well, look, they're just not that practical. They do still serve a function. I'm not actually against mounts. I think that they do still kind of serve a function, at least in that they are nice to show off, honestly, and that's a big part of playing an MMO, right? You want to look cool. A lot of it is like dressing up your character, especially for this game, right? Let's be honest here. It's not about stats. It's about the way you look, and having more things like a mount to be able to customize your character and make yourself feel like you look good and stuff is only going to be a good thing. But practically, mounts aren't really that useful in this game, just because you can waypoint around all over the place, so they're not that useful. But and I think for that, once people actually finally got in game, they kind of realised, oh no, we don't need these so much. But I think they will come eventually. I certainly do. Anyway, great sword. Did I already talk about this? 100 blades is like you hit really quickly. Skill 3, you spin around and hit a load of stuff in the path. Skill 4, I believe that like rushes you in on people, like super anime style, or maybe that's rush. I don't know actually. Oh, here we go. We just unlocked it. Oh no, this is okay. So this throws the sword at people. Why is it called Blade Trail? I don't know. Maybe that makes sense for an attack you throw, but that will cripple people. So if people are trying to get away from you, obviously not so useful in PvE. Sorry, very useful in PvP, but not so useful for PvE, I would say. But great sword, I think, is probably one of the highest damage, just raw damage, not through conditions or on crit hits and stuff like that. Just kind of the most raw damage. Our burst skill, arcing strike. Strike your foe with an uppercut and gain might. Okay, so I gain might from this too. Alright, that's going to be loads of might I've got then. If I still had my longbow, because then I could have blasted in that and I could have got even more. But we got 14 stacks here, that's not bad. So, yeah. There was something else I was going to say actually about, what was it? Oh, yeah, I remember now. So the other thing I was going to say is, this is another reason why I really like the charr story compared to the human story. It's the human story, we kind of had our first chapter, right? And then we jumped into the second chapter. It was pretty much an entirely different story, right? It felt very different. But for the charr, we still have the warband that we'd formed in the previous chapter. One of our members, Sour's not here for some reason, which is kind of weird. But we still have kind of at least 2 members of the warband that we'd formed in the previous chapter. So there's like a lot of continuity there straight away between the whole story that you're experiencing as a charr. This area is quite cool. Is there actually anything to do here? There's this weird picture here that you can come here in the overworld as well that I've seen before. There's also... It might not be at this section of the wall, but there's like another area with like this weird thing that looks almost like a map. Is that it? No. There's another area that looks almost like a map. There's a lot of weird stuff on the wall that I feel like there should be more to do at, but there never really is. And I've always just kind of assumed, oh, this is to do with personal story. But even now, we're in the personal story, right? At this section of the wall, but it doesn't actually look like there's anything extra to do here. I think there might be a chest there in the overworld, which is kind of weird. Right, but yeah, this is one of the reasons why I really like the charr personal story. Because it still feels like everything I did in that first chapter still matters. Sure, the characters aren't like super forward in the plot or really necessary at this point, but they're still around and they're still having an impact. If Farron was always with us, for example, then I would have felt a bit more like that for the human stuff, but it certainly didn't happen. Oh god, here we go. Clement Forktail. Hey. Pa.
It's good to see you, Cub.
Hey, he looks like me. I like it.
Changes to your warband. I wasn't sure if the Citadel would actually send you. Or if you'd come. I came to bring you in, Forktail. That's all. You're gonna pay for your crimes, and provide the information you promised. That's what I want, too. But the Flame Legion doesn't. They've been sending assassins after me ever since I reached out to the Black Citadel. They were right on my tail until I holed up in here. If they saw you come in, they're probably on their way. Let them come. Warband! The Flame Legion is about to join this party. Spread out and defend the hallway.
Oh, this should be cool. I actually love how similar we look. It's a little bit too close, actually. It looks like I'm about the same age as him, which is kind of weird. Which was something that happened as well on my main charr character too. As I said, I tried to make my actual proper one on my main account look kind of old, because I just love that kind of look about the charr. I was particularly inspired by one of the characters in... the Order of Whispers story, and also there's one towards the end of the game as well, a very old looking charr that I really thought, these guys are awesome. Sure, we'll just keep killing them, no problem. Full inventory again. No, that's not because I've been forgetting to empty it and stuff. That's simply because I don't have bags, and I don't have big bags at the moment, which I have to sort out. But yeah, so I quite liked that, the look of the old charr. So I went on my main character, like, this ridiculously old-looking guy that, in the end, was... let's just say, very weird to play as, because I looked way older than my dad in that story. I looked so much older than him.
The Flame Legion considers me such a threat.
We'll make you watch your cub die.
See, look, again, the dialogue was really quiet there. That's kind of odd. So yeah, I mean, that was very weird, and there's a lot of odd, just dialogue. The game never assumes that you're going to be old, and I wonder if maybe that's why ArenaNet did a lot of things like with the character creator. Like, you can't really make an old... You can make an old-looking charr, you can make an old-looking Asura. I don't think you can really make old-looking on any of the other races, and maybe it's something to do with the dialogue or something, how they set it up.
What was that, Forktail? Some kind of ambush? What's your game? This is no game. Those assassins were after me, not you. Flame is planning something big, and the entire Black Citadel is in danger. They'll kill me and anyone with me to keep this secret. Just get me back to the Citadel. Once we're safe, I'll tell you what you want to know. Yes, you will. Warband, take the prisoner back to the Citadel stockade and lock him up. I'll follow, and make sure you're not being pursued. Watch for ambushes along the way. Brimstone wants Forktail alive, and that's how we're going to deliver him. Move out!
Am I going to have a personal story step that makes me walk all the way back there? No, I have to leave now. Oh, it's a bit depressing that there's all this stuff here that I'm going to miss out on. What if I just deposit my collectibles? There we go, that's alright. Unclaimed loot 10 gold. What? For a minute there I thought I was spamming and getting loads of gold there. That's kind of weird. Why can't I just claim that? I literally can't pick up that gold. That's weird. Okay, so yeah, I guess we're just going to take him back. That dialogue there seemed very similar again to when my guy was a Gladium. Because, really? No, exit, we're finished. Oh, no, that was my first death on the charr! Oh, that's twice now! I've died because I've fallen. Actually, to tell you the truth, I've died on this guy as well off screen. But on screen, I've just died because I've fallen off of stuff. Oh, what the hell is that? That was my first on-screen death, wasn't it? Was that my first on-screen death? I think it was. Oh, well, in any case, there you go. I guess we're going to go back to the Black Citadel. We're not technically finished with this step, so let's just quickly go do it. We'll go speak to the Tribune. But this feels very similar to before. In the other story, your father... He's got some secret and he's just not telling you. He won't let you know, and it comes down to his life is on the line, and he's like, oh no, I promise I'll tell you, I promise. And you're like, well, just tell me now. And he's like, oh no, but I can't. And like, he just blatantly didn't have an excuse. So it was an interesting kind of story. I'm wondering how similar this is going to be now. And yeah, we'll see. But yeah, let's go on up, I guess, to the top. I'll meet you guys up there since there's no point in... Oh, no, we're going down. We're going to the stockade. Of course we are. Right, so we are going to the jail. Start the episode in the jail, end the episode in the jail. I don't know why I thought we were going to Ritlock. I just love Ritlock. Open sesame. Oh, I do love the doors. I'm going to have to mention that every time we see one. Right, speak to our father in the stockade. There's different prisoners here now. This is kind of cool. Wait, are you the same prisoner as before? I think you might be. You tell him, right? You tell him I didn't run. I may be a thief, but I'm not crazy. The safest place for me is inside one of these cells. You're lucky to be alive, thief. If you want to stay it that way, keep out of my sight. Interesting. Okay, hello, Senka, again. I have many questions. Many questions indeed.
So this is the traitor's cub. Tell me, does treason run in the family? Does stupidity run in yours? Address a legionnaire like that again and I'll put you on scrap duty in the brand. Now walk away. I need to talk to this prisoner. Yes, Legionnaire. Sorry, Legionnaire. I'll leave you to your interrogation. And if the prisoner gets damaged in the process, I won't have seen a thing.
That guy looks cool.
I'm glad you're here. There isn't much time. Flame is planning to move against the Citadel's highest-ranking officers, but I don't know when or how. That's convenient for you. How do I get more details? Head out to Lamia Maya. There's a Flame Legion recruiter there named Skull Twister. I've led him to think you're interested in changing sides, like I was. He'll treat you like a potential convert. If he won't give you the details you need, you'll have to force them out of him. But from what I've seen,
You can handle that.
Don't try and flatter me. I'll check out this skull twister. But if you're wasting my time, you'll suffer for it.
Well, what do you think, guys? Is he wasting our time? Is he wasting it? Alright, we've got a ring this time. Do you remember getting the ring on the human? Let's go with a bit of vitality. Since I remember picking vitality before, we may as well just play to our strengths. I know you have no reason to trust me. I wouldn't trust me either. Not yet, but I can earn your respect. You've defected to the Flame Legion. You're a traitor. Nothing can change that. I was a new Legionnaire like you. They worked on me, on my entire warband for weeks. Just meet the recruiter. Flame Legion will show. I swear. This had better work. Otherwise, I'll feed your tail to the crows. Hey, Reaver, how goes it? Meeting some Flame Legion stinker in some sort of secret meeting, are you? That sounds like no fun at all. I've got to. Besides, you'll be there. When are you ever not fun? Never. That's when. Alright, I'm convinced. Let's go. Let's go get him, boss. Let's get him, boss! Right, I think that's pretty much it. There's another guy here who doesn't have anything to say. He's actually a Flame Legion. Blade Master, that's a returning name of Flame Legion from the first game, which is pretty cool. Like that's one of the things I mentioned before, that it's kind of suggested that many of the charr we were fighting in the first game were Flame Legion, and that you'll see that many Flame Legion you fight in Guild 2 have the same kind of titles and names as those that were in the first game. There's also this weird place down here. It's like all collapsed in. I don't know. This again feels, whenever I see stuff like this in the towns, I think, oh, this must have been, maybe there was going to be an activity here or something. I get genuinely curious about where that might go, though. It reminds me a lot, and I don't know why, of like some areas in Mass Effect 1 where you go to like this big ruined city and like you drive this car on like a highway in the first game, and there's a lot of like collapsed stuff like that. I don't know why it reminds me of that. But yeah, okay, so there you go, guys. That was Guild 2 Daily for today. Shit, why do I keep saying that? Oh my god. It's just ingrained in me. That's how long I was doing daily and not Let's Plays. It's done a number on my head. Alright, well yeah, that was Let's Play Guild 2 for today. Thanks very much for watching. I guess we'll figure out whether our father is lying to us or not next time. Have a good one, everybody. And I'll try and salute as soon as I can swing the camera around, because my mouse is bugging out again. Yay, I hope I don't have to buy another one.